In this video, we're going to review Talisker 25, and we're going to tell you how you can win your own bottle of the whiskey with the best name drop ever.
It's called Talisker, and it's mentioned in a Robert Louis Stevenson poem.
I mean, it's the best name drop because Robert Louis Stevenson used it in a poem, not because it was in Charlie Wilson's War. Although that is kind of cool.
Don't be an idiot, I bugged the Scotch bottle.
What?
Talisker is the best whiskey produced on Skye, and I will take personal offense to anyone who says otherwise. Okay, fine. Talisker is the only whiskey that's produced on the island of Skye. You win.
Will you take the bug off my Scotch bottle now?
Talisker dates back to 1825, when Hugh and Kenneth McCaskill, side note, Hugh and Kenneth McCaskill, best Scottish names ever, acquired the rights to Talisker House and the land around it. Now, at the time, the land around Talisker House was full of subsistence farmers, and Hugh and Kenneth relocated them to different parts of Skye or onto the mainland. They then replaced them with something more profitable: sheep. The Talisker distillery exchanged hands loads of times before being owned by Messrs. Johnny Walker and John Dewar, names you might recognize. They eventually merged together to form the powerhouse that is Diageo. Now, Talisker is part of the classic malt collection, amongst such heavy hitters as Lagavulin and Oban. Now, you might remember from earlier reviews that I'm a big fan of Talisker 18. And I found novel uses for Talisker Skye. I know what you're thinking. You think this is silly. And you're not wrong, but you're definitely not right. Talisker sits in a really unique place. It's slightly peatier than Highland Park, and a little bit less peaty than your typical Islay whiskies like Lagavulin. It's such a cool, unique experience. I can't wait to try this 25-year-old. You can try it too, which is pretty cool because it is normally a really expensive bottle to get. We've just partnered with Dreamworks, and every month we're going to do a new competition for an amazing bottle of whiskey. And this month, it's Talisker 25. So I can't wait to try this, and I'd love for you to be able to try it too.
Maybe you should enter.
Now, I want you to really look at the oil and the legs you get on this 25-year-old. Now, one of the things that makes Talisker so unique is the way that they actually distill all of their whiskey. Now, you think most distilleries have a still, and it goes across from the still into a condenser with something called a Lin arm. And normally the Lin arm is straight across or maybe angled. But what makes Talisker really special is that the Lin arm has a U bend in it, which means that a lot of the spirit comes back into the still. And Talisker has a purifier at one of the ends of the Lin arm. And so what that does is it makes the whiskey really oily. And that's why you get those cool lines and legs when you look at it in the glass. It makes for a really unique spirit, and I think it's so cool. What I love about Talisker is the sweetness balanced with the smoke. On the nose, you get a bit of smokiness and a bit of peat, but it's mostly sweet, floral notes coming through. It's so inviting, but it's so interesting to get something that mixes the peat smoke so well with those sweet flavors and smells. Talisker 25 is powerful, assertive, and slightly sharp. It's peaty, peppery, licorice, lemon. It's really complex. What's so interesting about Talisker 25 is the balance. You get lots of different flavors, but they're not competing against each other. They're complementing each other. The biggest thing that naturally comes out, like all of the Taliskers, is the saltiness. But it's so well integrated and so interesting. This is what gets me excited about whiskey. There are very few drinks you can have where you get this kind of complexity, this kind of diametrically different flavors that harmonize together to create something that's truly unique. This is a really interesting thing to drink. The finish is very long, and again, you get the smokiness and the saltiness coming through. But like on the palate, it's this mixture of that sea taste with the fruitiness, and it's just so interesting and complex. Now, I'd love to tell you to rush out and buy a bottle of Talisker 25. Absolutely love to say that to you. But come on, let's be honest. The cheapest I've seen this for is 250 pounds. For most of us, Talisker 25 is
the stuff that dreams are made of.
Luckily, we partnered with Dreamworks.
That's good news.
Every month, Dreamworks does a whiskey competition. For free, you can enter to win a bottle of amazing whiskey. This month, it's Talisker 25. Just click the link and you can find more details. At the end of March, this competition ends. But every month, you have an opportunity to win a different bottle of whiskey. And every month, they're fantastic.
Oh, it's going to be such a jolly competition tonight.
As an alternative for something that's a bit cheaper, the 18-year-old from Talisker is also amazing.
This whiskey is excellent.
The 25-year-old, absolutely fantastic, entering the competition. It's a tough price point to compete in. But for me, price aside, this is an outstanding whiskey. Subscribe to TopWhiskies on YouTube. We post a new whiskey review every week. All right, is that everything? We got it?
You're not going to mention cabin pressure. 3 episodes are about Talisker 25.
That's a radio show. How am I going to include a radio show?